Time now for Movies and Money with our film critic, Eric Childress, the Chicago Film Critics Association. Good to have you back with us as always. A big weekend ahead. We're starting with Batman versus Superman.
Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love it. I love bringing people together. How are we?
Lex.
Hi, hello, Lex. It is a pleasure. Ow, wow, that is a good grip. You should not pick a fight with this person.
Yeah, clearly the biggest release of the year so far. We've had some major hits with Deadpool and with Zootopia, and this is the one that obviously Warner Brothers and DC have pinned their hopes on pretty much for like the last 18 months. It seems like we can't escape a new piece of footage or something coming out about this movie, and now it's here. And it's not very good.
You had the opportunity to screen it. And
yes.
What do you think then? Clearly you're not a fan already.
Yeah, I was not a big fan of Man of Steel at all, the first film that Zack Snyder did, you know, with the new Superman myth. And with this one, I was kind of with it up to a point, and that point is being when the two of them started fighting. And when the fighting kicked into gear for the last hour of the movie, becomes a complete disconnect. It doesn't really earn the setup of why the two of them are so at odds with each other. People who thought the Christopher Nolan Batman movies were serious have another thing coming when they see just how serious they take the first hour and a half of this movie. I think Ben Affleck is fine. People who are critical of him being cast as Batman. The Batman stuff is, at least to me, more interesting than the Superman stuff, because I think Henry Cavill is very much a stiff in the role. I think he might be the worst Batman or worst Superman we've seen to date.
Oh, and that's not good.
It's not good. And like I said, when you finally get to the 10-minute showdown between Batman and Superman in the middle of the movie, I think a lot of people who saw the Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao fight are going to have something in common with that. They're going to be just as disappointed.
Yeah. Well, okay, and I know you were looking forward to screening that, so as a critic, it probably left you unsettled.
I was unsettled, and I'm actually being a little kinder to the film than a lot of critics are. There are a lot of critics that are really taking the opportunity to bash this thing. I saw one review this morning that says it's the worst superhero movie ever. That's a little harsh. I think it's a little better than Man of Steel, a bit of an improvement, but it's still a failure ultimately. That doesn't mean it's not going to make a lot of money this weekend. Some analysts are saying over $160 million at least for this thing, and I think anything less than that might come up as a disappointment. I'm curious to see what the Easter holiday does for the results this weekend, and if that lowers it a little bit. All I know is that if this movie does not beat Deadpool in grosses around the world and in the U.S., people at DC are going to be sweating a little bit.
Sweating a little bit. So
yes.
You say bad movie, but good money.
Yes.
Let's move on to My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
Florida, Texas, New York. These are the colleges I'm applying to. Why do you want to leave me?
Payback.
And this might be a case of bad movie, bad money. I have not seen the film yet, but I've heard from many colleagues that said that this is even more unnecessary a sequel than you could possibly imagine. Clearly, 15 years ago when My Big Fat Greek Wedding came out, it was a phenomenon.
I loved it. And
there
know
you
what?
go. Yeah.
It stands the test of time.
Does it?
I recently saw it again.
Okay.
Yes, and I was entertained again.
Have you seen any of Nia Verdalo's other movies since she made that one?
Maybe one.
No one has. but she has been living off that success for a long time, and I'm just curious that if people are really still interested in revisiting the story. Is it just sort of a cash grab because of the title? I mean, she's made other movies since then, not a lot, but they haven't really opened well. They haven't really caught on with anyone. This is, like I said, this is a phenomenon. This is a movie that played almost an entire year in theaters. It built up steam all the way from the.
It was a sleeper.
From the spring,
a hit.
It's the definition of a sleeper. It was from the late spring release to all the way into the summer. It became in August. It finally was breaking through in the top 2 slots. It never reached #1 at the box office, and yet made over $241 million. Wow. And they had a television series based on this movie, My Big Fat Greek Life, and I think it lasted 6 episodes, so people weren't even interested in this as a TV series years ago. I don't know how 15 years later they're really going to be interested in seeing it again, but it might draw people just for being an alternative to the Batman Superman movie out this weekend.
Well, there's a weekend for you.
Yeah, a lot of sequels that are not very good.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.